Bitcoin's under 90, sentiment's under pressure, and somehow, everyone's surprised. Markets didn't break, narratives did. Because when liquidity thins out, volatility looks scarier than it actually is, and conviction gets tested or headlines get loud. Today isn't about predictions, it's about positioning. We've got Bitcoin consolidating into a historic options expiry, institutions quietly stepping closer, governance drama reminding everyone why decentralization is hard, and one corporate whale choosing cash over headlines. Oh, and yes, something interesting is happening under the surface at SENB. So today, we're cutting through the noise, what the charts are actually saying, why sentiment looks worse than structure, what matters now, and what absolutely doesn't. I'm Sen B'Hiro. This is your SENB Daily Brief. Let's get into it.
You're listening to the SENB Daily Brief, powered by Whole Shot Coffee.
All right, let's start with the market, because the charts are telling a much clearer story than the timelines right now. Bitcoin first. BTC is sitting around $87,600, still inside that downward channel we've been tracking. This isn't panic selling, this is controlled compression. Lower highs, higher participation, and price respecting key moving averages. Momentum hasn't broken, structure hasn't failed. This is digestion, not disaster. And notably, Bitcoin dominance is back above 59%. That tells you capital is choosing safety and liquidity first, not exiting the market. Ethereum next. Ether is hovering near $2,940, pulling back from recent highs, but still holding above longer-term support. Same story here. No structural breakdown, just pressure from broader risk-off positioning. Stochastics are resetting, volume is cooling, and ETH continues to act like, well, a market anchor, not a meme. Now Solana? SOL is down near $124, still sliding inside its descending channel. And yes, that looks ugly on the surface, but context matters. Solana has already corrected harder than most majors, and momentum indicators are flattening. That's not confirmation of a bottom, but it is the market saying most of the fast money already left. XRP is trading around $1.88, also respecting its channel, also unwinding excess momentum. No breakout, no collapse, just compression. Now zoom out. The crypto fear and greed index is at 29, firmly in fear. And historically, that's not where bull markets end. That's where liquidity waits patiently. So if you're looking for chaos, you won't find it here. What you're seeing instead is clarity forming under the surface. And that sets us up perfectly for today's stories. Coming up next, we cover the headlines everyone is talking about. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the SENB Daily Brief, powered by Whole Shot Coffee.
Welcome back, everyone. Okay, let's start with Bitcoin. Still consolidating below 90,000, currently hovering in the 87 to 88K range. This isn't random. There's a $28.5 billion Bitcoin options expiry coming up on December 26th, the largest in history. And when that much gamma is sitting on the table, price doesn't move. It gets pinned. So if you're wondering why Bitcoin feels glued to the chart right now, that's not weakness, that's positioning. Post-expiry, that's when direction usually reveals itself. Next up, JPMorgan. Yes, that JPMorgan. Reports today suggest the bank is exploring spot and derivatives crypto trading for institutional clients. This isn't JPMorgan discovering crypto. This is JPMorgan responding to client demand under a regulatory framework that's finally starting to loosen. Whether they build, partner, or acquire, the message is simple. Wall Street isn't asking if crypto belongs anymore. They're deciding how they want exposure. Now, Coinbase just made another strategic move, acquiring the clearing company, a startup focused on on-chain prediction markets. This fits perfectly into Coinbase's long-term vision of becoming an everything exchange. Prediction markets aren't just gambling. They're information markets, price discovery for real-world outcomes, and Coinbase wants that activity, regulated, on-chain, and settled in stablecoins. That's not a side quest. That's infrastructure. Now to DeFi, and not the good kind of headlines. A governance dispute inside Aave has pushed the token down nearly 18% on the week, far worse than the broader market. This isn't about price. It's about process. When votes feel rushed, when transparency feels optional, markets respond immediately. DAOs live and die on trust, and today, Aave is being reminded of that in real time. And finally, MicroStrategy. No new Bitcoin buys this week. Instead, the company added $748 million to cash reserves, bringing total liquidity above $2.1 billion. This isn't a loss of conviction. This is optionality. You don't raise cash because you're scared. You raise cash because you want flexibility, especially when volatility is compressed. So, across the board, the theme is consistent. Bitcoin is pinned. Institutions are positioning. infrastructure is expanding, and governance still matters. Which brings us to the most interesting part of the show, what you are seeing, questioning, and calling out. Let's open the Proof of Thought mailbag. We read them all next.
You're listening to the SENB Daily Brief, powered by Whole Shot Coffee.
And we're back. It's time for my favorite part of the show. All right, first one's from @StackingSatsDad, and I already like the username. He writes, Sen, BTC under 90K again. Is this the top or just holiday chop? Holiday chop. If this were the top, you wouldn't be bored. You'd be panicking. Low volume, pinned options, thin liquidity. This is price waiting, not price failing. If you're still asking top or bottom every week, zoom out. Structure hasn't broken. Next up, @DEEFYEDEGEN42. Yes, that username. He asks, should I be worried about Aave or is this just DAO drama? DAO drama is still drama, but price doesn't care why, only how long confidence is disrupted. Governance risk isn't fatal, but it's real. If you're holding DeFi tokens, your edge isn't hype. It's patience and accountability. Protocols recover. Trust takes longer. Okay, this one's from @MacroMindedMia. Solid handle. She says, JPMorgan getting into crypto feels bullish, or should we be nervous? Both feelings are correct. Banks don't enter markets to save them. They enter to capture flow. That's bullish for liquidity, neutral for ideology. If you wanted crypto to stay small and rebellious, sorry. If you wanted it liquid and durable, this is what that looks like. Last one today comes from @Sideways since 2021. Honestly, same. He asks, fear index is low again. Should we be buying or waiting? Fear index is low, and everyone wants permission. Classic. Look, fear doesn't mean buy everything. It means risk is cheaper than confidence. You scale. You don't swing for hero trades. Markets reward consistency, not bravery theater. Okay, good questions today, seriously. Confusion is normal in sideways markets. That's where bad decisions are made, and where good positions are built. Speaking of good positions, that brings us to the SENB project update. We'll cover that next.
You're listening to the SENB Daily Brief, powered by Whole Shot Coffee.
All right, quick SENB project update, because there has been some quiet but meaningful movement behind the scenes. First things first. Yes, SENB hit a new all-time high today. That number is a mouthful to say out loud. So I'm not going to butcher it on air, but what matters is this. Price, market cap, and trajectory are all making higher highs. That's the signal, not the decimals. And yes, the bonding curve moved a bit today. That's what happens when activity shows up unexpectedly. The system adjusts, liquidity deepens, and price discovery keeps doing its thing. Nothing parabolic, nothing unstable, just progress. What I want people to understand is this. We're not chasing candles. We're building infrastructure. Which brings me to the part we've been intentionally quiet about. There is an upcoming airdrop event. Details are not live yet, and that's on purpose. When it launches, there will be a dedicated page on the website, a clear explanation, and a simple way to participate. No riddles, no gas wars, no nonsense. And yes, I will confirm this much today. There will be something special for Tooker holders. That's all I'm saying for now. If you know, you know. If you don't, keep watching. On the growth side, views, followers, and engagement are all continuing to trend up across platforms. YouTube's crossed a major milestone. Community participation is improving, and the signal-to-noise ratio much better than it was even a month ago. And quick shout-out to Ember Vale. Streams and listeners are up, momentum is building, and we're still on track to release 2 new singles within the next week. That matters because SENB isn't just charts. It's media, it's culture, it's creative output that actually ships. Christmas is 2 days away. We've got less than 8 days left in the year, and honestly, I like where we're standing going into 2026. And that brings us to my final thoughts of the day, wrapping up after this.
You're listening to the SENB Daily Brief, powered by Whole Shot Coffee.
Okay, as we wrap today up, here's the framing I want to leave you with. Markets are choppy, liquidity is selective, sentiment is cautious, and yet, under the surface, clarity keeps improving. Institutions are positioning, builders are shipping, noise is fading, which historically is when everyone stops paying attention, right before it matters again. So whether you're holding, building, learning, or just watching from the sidelines this week, slow down, zoom out, and don't let holiday volatility shake your conviction. More updates soon, more clarity ahead. And yes, when the airdrop goes live, you'll hear it here first. I'm Sen B'Hiro. This was your SENB Daily Brief for Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025. Stay sharp, and I'll see you next time. The SENB Daily Brief is a production of Sen B'Hiro Media in collaboration with Whole Shot Coffee, coffee that fuels champion. Written and hosted by yours truly, Sen B'Hiro. Production, editing, and scheduling handled by Maya Valencia, who somehow keeps me on time, caffeinated, and occasionally polite. Original theme music composed and produced by Paul Hahn, the community legend whose beats hit harder than a Fed rate hike. Research support provided by the SENB community. Proof that sarcasm and spreadsheets can coexist. For more shows, merch, and on-chain chaos, visit senbhiromedia.com. Thanks for tuning in. Stay caffeinated. And remember, if it's not in the brief, it probably wasn't bullish anyway.
Set my wallet free.